What's happening? My name's Lucas. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to record live drums in Ableton. I'll walk you through everything in my template. You can follow along and copy everything, or you can also download this exact template from my template pack using the link in the description. So first I'm going to walk you through all the tracks in my template. The first track here is a click track, which is something that I've made. It's included in all my templates. And basically, I don't want to use the built-in Ableton click because I need some extra flexibility with routing. Creating your own click track will allow you to do that. I can route any amount of level of click to the drummer's ears and have a separate click volume for anyone else that's involved in the session. So it's super powerful. I have a MIDI track here that I can just drag to the length of the song. I can also program any MIDI or automation that I need to help the musicians play everything perfectly. The next two tracks are talkback tracks, so if you're recording drums in the same room, you don't need these, but if you're recording drums in another room, you have to communicate somehow. So I use the talkback mic with my Universal Audio Apollo interface, so every time I press the button, this is set to in and the drummer can hear me. And then for the drummer to talk back, I've actually just used my hi-hat mic. Normally you would just have a separate vocal mic for them, but this is also set to in, so anytime the drummer needs to say something to me, I can turn this on or off. Next, I have my music track. We can look at this in mixer view as well. So music's here. You can drag whichever stems the client sends you or whatever it is that you need to record over. And then here are my drum tracks. So for this session, I'm using kick, snare top, snare bottom, rack tom, floor tom, hats, overhead left, overhead right, room close, and room far. Ideally, I would have two kick mics, but for this particular setup, I'm limited on mics. And then lastly, but one of the most important things, this is actually a cue mix for my drummer. So if you check this out, I'm going to an external output to a headphone amplifier. This allows me to have a completely separate mix sent to the drummer. So most of the time, the drummer's gonna want no drums in their headphone mix and really loud click and tracks. So you can see here, we can control the level of the click by sending this to A. Same thing with talkback for my talkback mic. No drums talkback mic in there, and then music we can turn up. So I'm using the music as a group send. That way any tracks here, if you mix them with individual levels here, it'll all be reflected in the send and it's less work overall. And then drums we are not sending to this headphone cue. Now I'm going to show you all the individual tracks and effects that I'm using on my drums. It's all pretty conservative for recording purposes, all stock plugins, so we don't have any issues with latency or anything like that. So on our drum bus, we're using the drum bus plugin with nothing on and a glue compressor, slow attack. I'm just boosting the makeup for listening purposes for this video, but normally this would be at 0. Now all the individual tracks will have some combination of EQ, compression, and saturation, with a few exceptions that you'll see. So here's our kick. Here's our snare top, here's snare bottom. Here I've added a utility in case you need to flip the phase. Rack tom, floor tom, hi-hat mic, overhead left. For the overheads, I have no compression because if you compress too much, you will get lots of cymbals, which will be undesirable. And overhead right, same thing, no compression. And then our two room mics. So I'm doing saturation first for these, lo-fiing them a little bit, and then more aggressive compression. And same thing on room far. A couple quick things about key commands. So if you hit this key button, I've mapped the click, mute, and unmute button to number 7 on the numeric keypad, so that's really handy. Once all the individual drums are set up, you're going to want to link them. So I'm going to hold Shift, select all of them like this, and then you're going to right click and hit link tracks. I've already done this, but now when you hit record or when you do anything, it's going to link all of them, so that's super handy. Another really useful thing to know is this key command Option Command U, which will open up the take lanes. I like to monitor this while I'm recording just to make sure all the takes are being recorded correctly. If you're recording kind of the same length all the way through the track, you shouldn't have problems. But if you're punching in or doing overdubs or something, definitely take a look at how your takes are looking here because this can get messy real fast. When I'm done with the recording session, I'll go in and label all these and clean it up afterwards. I wait until I'm done recording before cleaning anything up because it can get confusing with all the numbers and the takes and stuff, especially if you have a big session. To close these, you hold Shift again, select all of them, Option Command U, and then it's closed. Let's take a listen to what this session sounds like. Let me know in the comments if you're also recording drums in Ableton and anything else that you have in your setup. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.